I'm just over here vibing, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to hit go live on a few things. Good morning. Welcome back to your daily checkup from the Neck Up. Coach Kyle Evans coming to you. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Maps Coach, Bold Coach, all the things. Ready to dive into this G.R.O.W show. Yesterday, we talked about buyers. We talked about running a few plays with them, understanding the situation that they may be in, and being able to accurately, mathematically, logically explain to them all their options. Today, we're going to continue on that path. Today, we're going to talk about renting versus owning, which is a topic that keeps coming up more often than not, especially as interest rates keep going up or they are up. And rent may not be doing what you think it's doing. So maybe it's time to change some of the conversations that we're having with our people and back them up with facts and logic. Here's the thing. The old script of rents are skyrocketing, it doesn't land right now. Nationally, if you actually look at it, rents are pretty flat. Some are even slightly down year over year. So if we walk into a buyer's consult saying renting is getting more expensive every month, and buyers have seen something different, which is true, they very well might call us out. The bigger truth is owning a home isn't just about shelter costs. It's not just about having a place to live. The true fact is owning a home is a vehicle for wealth building. In this episode, we're going to literally shift that urgency conversation from fear of rent increasing, which is something we've said in the past, to the positive reality of wealth building, of the amortization table, of tax advantages, of essentially long-term stability. Or some people might even think of it as long-term freedom, long-term protection. So, Kyle, what does the data actually say? As of August 2025, this year, rents are down almost 1%, 0.9% year over year nationally. That's from Apartment List. The median is about $1,400. Home ownership rate still holding strong. Demand still remains reasonably high, even despite the affordability challenges, even despite the prices being high, even despite interest rates, still holding strong there. So we know that rents are actually down and home ownership is staying steady, but the prices for the home ownership, they're still climbing, right? For the most part. We're starting to see that taper off, if not drop in some markets. Translation for us agents out there, we can't rely on the rents are skyrocketing urgency conversation anymore. We've got to pivot. We got to pivot to the truth of the equity and wealth conversation. Guys, renting isn't necessarily more expensive month to month right now, but it's incredibly more expensive in the long term because it builds no wealth. Renting is paying someone else's mortgage. For example, let's look at just an idea here. A $1,900 rent, all right? $1,900 rent versus a $1,971 mortgage payment. I came up with that from a 6.25 interest rate on a $400K home, just principal and interest. The renter path, they pay $1,900 a month. Quick math for you, because it's in the morning. I'll do it for you. It's $22,800 a year. At $1,900 a month, they're going to spend $22,800 per year on rent. Over 5 years, that's $114,000 with nothing to show for it. $114,000 over 5 years paid for shelter costs and nothing to show for it. Here's the trick. On the owner path, with that $1,971 a month mortgage, that's $23,650 a year. The base layer says, oh, it's more expensive. It's definitely more expensive when you throw in things like taxes and taking care of the property and things like that. That's where most people stop. That's where their decision making stop. They look at the base layer. They look at the snorkel instead of the scuba dive. But what they're missing is the 1-year principal pay down is going to be something like $3,500 to $4,000. In year one, they're paying their principal $3,500 to $4,000. Let's not even get started on a 3% appreciation, which is not out the realm of possibility, as most of you know. That home that was $400,000 in 5 years with a modest appreciation grows to $463,000. That's a different animal. So if you think about the money that they're paying in their principal, if you think about the money that they're gaining in appreciation, the renter spends 114,000 and owns nothing. The owner spends nearly the same monthly, but gains 60, 70, $80,000 in net worth. That's a massive swing. That's almost a $200,000 swing one way or another. Guys, what are we doing? What conversations are we having? Something that I want you to understand and be able to articulate properly. Rent is 100% interest. Rent is 100% interest. Ownership for more people than not is a forced savings protocol plus appreciation. Ownership for most people is a forced savings account. It's a forced equity builder. And they're getting the benefit of appreciation. The same monthly outflow, completely different outcome. What kind of conversations are we having with our renters? What kind of conversations are we having with our clients and our customers? I'll offer you a twist on this as well. The fear of loss is the primary motivator for people. The fear of loss is the primary motivator for most people. So when you're talking about this, I would caution you against framing it as the money that they could gain. And I would probably lean more into it as the money that they're going to walk away from, as the money that they're not going to get. Same outcome, phrased differently, inspires different motivation because the fear of loss is the primary motivator for most human beings. Another conversation to think about is a lifestyle clock versus the market clock. Now, a lot of us are running into conversations with people that are about the market clock. It might sound something like, hey, I'm just going to wait for the perfect rate. I'm going to wait for the perfect rate. That's thinking about the market. Lifestyle clock, that's a reality, baby. That's the 6Ds of real estate. Diapers, diplomas, diamonds, divorce, death, deployment. Diapers, diplomas, diamonds, divorce, death, deployment. Diapers, diplomas, too much. Diamonds, divorce, death, deployment. Third time's a charm. Babies happen. Relocations happen. Career changes happen. Aging parents happen. Life does not wait for rates. We've got to tie the urgency to life events. Buyers often regret delaying a move that mattered personally far more than they regret paying a slightly higher interest rate. I've seen people make this mistake a few times, unfortunately. I had a client who waited for the perfect rate, missed the window, and is still renting years later because they missed their chance. The second child came, and they're still in the same spot. By now, prices are too high. Markets change every month, but people's families' needs are happening right now. Which clock should we be following? Wall Street's or your client's actual lifestyle? You get to decide. You get to choose the conversation that you're having with these people. You get to choose the reality that you can bring to their attention because most people aren't paying attention to the whole picture. Why? Because the story that they're telling themselves is around the fear of loss, but they're missing the forest for a tree. Your job is to communicate properly. Your job is to know the economics. Your job is to know the market. Your job is to know what equity looks like. Your job is to understand that the net worth nationally of a renter is like 1,500 bucks. But the net worth of a homeowner is like, I don't even know. Probably should have looked that up before I started saying it. I would assume way more than 1,500 bucks. Markets change every month, but your family's needs are happening right now. Which clock are you guys going to follow? Wall Street's or your client's lifestyle? So if you're looking for some conversation ideas around this, if we're looking at it as a wealth engine conversation model, I would potentially say something like renting and owning feel the same monthly. They do. But in 5 years, one can give you potentially $60,000 in equity and the other one gives you zero. Which one feels smarter to you, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer? Renting or owning feels pretty much the same monthly, but in 5 years, one gives you 50, 60, $70,000 potentially in equity. The other one gives you zero. Which one feels smarter to you? I'm here for you either way, but it's my job to explain the ramifications of your decision. I got your back though. I'll do whatever you want. We got to take the time to frame the conversation properly. It's our job to inform, to educate, to advise. But a lot of times we're too scared to have a conversation that could actually help our people grow generational wealth because we don't want to sound salesy or pushy. Boy, if I can push my clients into generational wealth, I sure as heck am going to. I want them to know about that. I want them to understand compound interest. I want them to understand growing appreciation. Another idea is the clock conversation. Hey, when we first talked, you told me that you wanted more space. You told me that you wanted a big yard. You told me that you wanted this neighborhood, whatever it is. Are we going to let the interest rate dictate your family's lifestyle? Or do we anchor it to your actual needs? Are we going to let the interest rate dictate your family's lifestyle, or are we going to actually anchor our decision to your needs? What about the age-old famous refi conversation? Listen, let's get you qualified and locked in at the rate of 6.25, whatever it is. If the rates drop, we'll refi. If they don't, you started building wealth now and you're living the lifestyle you wanted. If they drop, we'll refi. If they don't, you're still building wealth now and living the lifestyle you want. Guys, sometimes renters are ready, willing, and able to make this purchase, but they don't have a guide. They don't have a professional real estate agent to sit down, slow down, and understand where they're at and walk them through the decision-making process. It drives me bonkers when agents poo-poo renters. Like, that's a person with dreams, goals, aspirations. Slow down and help them. Be the professional, not the amateur. My challenge for you today is to pick a few renters in your pipeline, pick a few renters in your database, pick a few renters that you know, like, and trust, and then run the math with them. Sit down and actually have a strategy session with them. Hey, this is what it could look like 5 years from now if you rented versus if you owned. Which one is the smart choice for you and your family? Which one is the best choice for your lifestyle? Which one is the best choice for your retirement? Which one is the best choice in building wealth? Which one is the best choice in unlocking the next level in your financial evolution? That one sounded nice. Pick three. Slow down and run the 5-year play with them. The worst case scenario, you showed up like someone who actually cares in their life and educated them. That is the worst case scenario. Do you guys realize that? The worst case scenario is that you cared about your client and educated them on where they potentially could be. And yet we're not doing that. This business is so simple, and yet we overcomplicate it all the time. We don't get out of our own way. Go truly put people first this week. Go be their economist of choice. Go slow down, meet them where they're at, and be their guide so they can be the hero of their own story. It's that simple, but it's that hard. So most people won't do it. The choice is yours. Guys, the rent versus own conversation, it's shifted. It's no longer about fearing rent increases. It's about showing buyers the actual opportunity cost of waiting. Rent is 100% interest. Rent is 100% expense. Ownership is equity. Ownership is appreciation. Ownership is tax advantages. Ownership is lifestyle choices. We've got to go get out there and have the conversation. We have to let our people know that they're roughly the same monthly outflow, but one yields a completely different outcome. We have to let them know that the markets follow one clock, but their lives follow another. Which one matters more? Stop paying someone else's mortgage and start paying your own. Guys, I trust this was helpful today. I trust that you're going to take the call and go find some of these people and slow down and meet them where they are and be the fiduciary that actually cares about their financial destiny. In the next episode, we're going to dig into the biggest opportunity that buyers have right now: builder incentives, how to capture them before they disappear. Guys, thanks for joining me today, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Until then, I get to go to my daughter's book fair, so I got to run. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow.